while he might lose a map or two, I don't think he's going to lose 4 maps in a series against this fine guy in the top right. But I'm willing to be proven wrong from the goodest gamers of gaming. This is Cyan.
Good game.
GG.
And his opponent in the bottom left side of the map, representing Kaizi, an absolute monster. This is time.
You saw that Spirit or Soul is on Kaizi right now. Spirit is his name right now.
Really? Cool.
Yeah.
I just saw him tweet that he's swapping a Protoss to. He's been studying the tools and he's ready. I'm pretty sure it's a meme, but I'm not 100% sure since. I
mean, that's wonderful.
History of complaining about that race.
And that's wonderful for Kaiser Gaming, who's like, you know what, we like our Terrans. We've had innovation in the past as well. Let's grab a brand new Terran player from the EU side, an extremely strong region in StarCraft 2, and then he turns into a Protoss.
It's also funny. It's the players that you know they have that attitude as well. They're the ones who will also play it the funniest way possible, right? Where it's like they only use Dark Templar, Disruptors, and Skytoss. You know, like what? It's like when we see Scarlet bring out Protoss, she brings out some nasty, doesn't she? She knows all the dirty tricks.
I think that's catharsis, honestly. Like I can guarantee you that when Spirit starts playing Protoss, it's going to be Void Ray Shield battery rushes. It's going to be hidden dark shrines, stuff like that. It's going to be all the stuff that he loses to because it's catharsis. That's why Scarlet plays the way she does, because she's like, I lose to this all the time, and I just want to do it to someone else. I want someone else to feel my pain.
It's actually a good exercise as well. Executing the things that you lose against. You see the different ways various people shut them down. You get an intuitive understanding of where the advantages lie and don't lie. That probe waits for the Reaper to leave, goes straight back in. I like this move from Cyan. He's trying to pull that Reaper home and maybe even get a SCV snipe. No, he's going to go straight past. Good for the scout. Sees it is a Marine.
Yeah, so the probe should go down here to the Reaper. Good luck, have fun, says the probe. Sportsmanship.
Bunker on 225. That's not the fastest bunker, but the Adept is not coming across the map, so he will get away with it. That's a bit of an odd choice, honestly, for Cyan to go shield battery in the main and then not shade the Adept across. The whole point of the battery is so you can shade the Adept across, especially if you sacrifice a probe like that. So Cyan playing very passive, very kind of like, I want to deny your scouting. I don't want you to know that I've built a Stargate.
And Stargate halfway done here for Cyan as Time's Natural finishes up. Now, what is the plan here for the production of the Terran? I actually didn't see what add-ons on what. Okay. Yeah, so pretty normal. Factory tucked in back with a tech lab. And this could mean a lot of things. Like Time could just be going straight into tanks and then getting in a bunch of Marines. And sees the Stargate though. So yeah,
and had already started the Cyclone even before he saw it by a second. So
yeah,
he was like already in this mindset, and he's like, oh, perfect. And he's going the second barracks. This is looking kind of like the coffee build, a version of it. If we see a third barracks go down, then it definitely is in that line. Another tech lab on the way on that second barracks for now. And for now, it's just going to be obviously lots of Marines, a good amount of raw material with the early 2 barracks production, as well as those upgrades coming in. Adept's actually going to commit, get an SCV, but the Cyclone will punish them for that.
Yep, Cyclone is going to win against at least a small cluster of Adepts here.
Oh, he actually pulled back. Okay, he gets it. Good focus fire. But 2 SCVs, the Adepts cancel their shade.
Oh, that's a mistake.
Yeah, that's a very
they're all dead.
Choice there. 3 Adepts going down for not very much at all. Oracle, he wanted to just try and distract so the Oracle get damage. I mean, 4 SCVs and mining time for 3 Adepts. Obviously not great cost for cost. Arguably could be worth it if the game is kind of chill for 5 or 6 minutes, but Beckett, I don't know if we're going to get that.
And the Reaper's getting a good old scout of what's happening in the Natural, by the way, which is where all the extra structures of Cyan are being plopped. 2 more gateways, the extra robo. So Time got a good old scout there. And yeah, we're going to get that 3rd Oracle, the magic number. Cyan is a believer in the Adept versus Terran. And we've seen Adept and Oracle busts in PvT before. But I feel like they're not as good as they used to be, not as prevalent as they used to be. But I do like Triple Oracle. Triple Oracles will still one-shot SCVs that could erase a SCV line. So I'm a fan of that.
And I don't mind 2 base Colossus as a follow-up. He's going to go for the Adept Oracle dive on the Natural. 2 barracks, though. There's so much Marines. Like, there's just a lot of firepower. You've got a bunker, you've got a tank. I don't see this going particularly well for Cyan. It's a very committed attack. But I look at this and I say, cool, even if you kill a bunch of... I mean, you've got to kill the Marines. You don't even want SCVs here, because otherwise you die to the counter push.
Oh, the Oracles come in. Looks like one of them died there.
That's a Cyclone.
Oh, second Oracle's dead. Oh, no. It's on the map. Just escapes. And I think he only got one SCV, Pig. He got a handful of Marines in the Cyclone, sure, but he actually didn't get any SCVs and lost 2 Oracles. That's not very good for Cyan at all.
The Cyclone is like, my job is to defend Oracles. I traded my life for 2 Oracles. I'm happy with that. I wasn't exactly an important unit for the push later on, was I? So yeah, this is looking really nice for time. Cyan's got a great work account, but only 2 Nexus, so can't really take advantage of it in a big way. He's trying to go up to Immortals +1 attack. Phoenix now building. It feels to me like Cyan is stuck on a rather low tier army. The first Colossus finally does start up, and that's going to add some longevity, but there's no Twilight. There's no 3rd Nexus, and Cyan is now trapped in this like, I need to make units so I can survive the push, but if time doesn't push and drops a 3rd command center, or if he doesn't overcommit, I mean, I'm going to fall behind economically and everything else. So it's a catch-22. What do? You're going to have to be weak against something. For now, Cyan does try to do a little bit of everything at once. 3rd Nexus, Twilight, upgrades, adding Phoenix and Colossus. So it seems like what he's decided is, look, I'll use a couple of Phoenix as my anti-air, and we're going to just try to get up, probably charge first, as many Colossus and Zealots, and maybe, just maybe, I can hang on to this 3rd base.
Yeah. Well, you got the safe squad up on the ramp there. Phoenix is looking for, well, just basically looking at the Terran army there. The Oracle doesn't have enough energy for the Revelation until just now. There it is, tags those units. Once again, the Terran's army is looking pretty strong, but I could see the Protoss holding here, especially with a shield battery to assist if time gets too deep. Oh, never mind. It's going to die to the tanks.
Oh, yep, it goes down. I mean, he slowed the tank down a little bit, the advance. Drops a force field, and time's just going to shove. The tank's getting right up in there.
Wow.
Oh, he's going to keep going. There's just so little Protoss. He's got to give up the 3rd. Probe's pulling back. He's got to build more pylons or he'll be supply blocked as well. Cyan, there we go. Okay, extra pylon did just finish. So he's warping into lots of Zealots. Charge is not done just yet. Cyan is like, well, I've got a decent charge Colossus army in about 40 seconds. Problem for him, 3rd base is finishing for time. Time's going up to 5 barracks. He's adding Vikings and tanks to deal with the Colossus. And this makes things very awkward for Cyan.
Yeah, it certainly does. And honestly, it's a really good star sense here from time, and something that a lot of players should do is when you do something like that basically for free, have a look at what's remaining for the Protoss, and if it's not 100%, if it's not like a super high percentage chance that a push just kills them right there, disengage. You've got a massive advantage. You've just picked off their 3rd, you have your own 3rd, and you can use that lead to have a bit of patience, wait a couple more minutes, and come back with an even bigger discrepancy in army supply and upgrades.
This is, of course, Time's map pick, so no shame if Cyan does drop this map, but I want to see some dangerous, dangerous moves coming out. Maybe Disruptors come out early, look for some big shots. This, to me, doesn't feel like the greatest army for making comebacks happen. Just Colossus, Zealot, and Archons will beef it out, especially if they come in before Ghosts. And his positioning's been great. The sentry count, actually very nice. If he can split the bio, if he could split the bio on the ramp and engage it kind of half out of tank range, that would be awesome.
Certainly would be. It's one of those positions where defensively you can come in from 2 spots, but also offensively you can come in from 2 spots as well if the Protoss comes out a little bit too close to that peninsula, that edge of that high ground. You can come in, give him a little bit of that Terran sandwich with the Protoss meat in the middle.
Command Center SCV does get delayed there, but now you know there's a 4th Command Center on the way. That's very worrying as Cyan. Ooh, watch out. The tanks are so good on this map, Maynard. It is really difficult. There's so many tight, kind of cramped choke points and entrances. Phoenix doing a great job of just kind of budget map control there. 3 Phoenix picking up some Marines. +2 attack and blink now coming in for Cyan. So as Cyan, I look at this and I'm thinking, you want to go for maybe an... Oh, get out of there, Zealots. Run. This is bad. He's going to try and recall him from the corner. They are very fast units. Clump him. Recall. No! Oh, no.
I guess they rejoin the color.
Yeah. Okay. It's a lot of Zealots. Cyan can't be affording that. So the way I think I would probably want to see Cyan play this to maximize the chances of coming back is you want to max out on a crazy large army and you want to try to either like just jump on him with a bit of a flank, or you want to base trade when he moves out across the map. One or the other. But you want to do something like that, and then you want to start going disruptors behind this as well. So if it goes base trade, disruptors can maybe land a few big hits, slow down the advance, and kind of get that advantage going. The problem is he's got to max out before that really becomes possible, and time, he's very aware. He doesn't want to give him that extra little bit of time.
This choke point. This choke point is brutal for Cyan. And we've seen Cyan bust through a choke point against Terrans before. He did a great job with Coffee. Is he going to do it this time? The Archon's doing fantastic against the Bio.
The splash damage,
oh my
dude.
God, yeah, dude.
The splash damage. Cyan is the choke point king. He attacks through choke points into Bio tank, and he evaporates it with Mass Colossus Archon. Dude, the Phoenix. I don't even know. How did none of the Colossus go down? Were they just in battery overcharge? Because I know in the fight against Coffee, he didn't focus fire. There was 7 tanks and 6 Vikings. They should be able to one-shot Colossus. I don't think he was focus firing. And
I think so, yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Vikings were spreading their attacks across the Phoenix because 3 of the tanks were lifted for a large portion of that fight. And the tanks, I don't think even then, still 4 tanks kills a Colossus in 2 shots, even with battery overcharge. So I'm very surprised. I really want to see a replay of that fight in the highlights reel if we get a chance, because I don't have the replay, and I want to know how it turned that far. I'm sure the Bio was maybe a little more clumped than it should have been as well, but amazing. Cyan's back in this game, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. That fight went catastrophically bad for time, and that's what Cyan needed to get back into this game and to have himself, in a position where he could go across the map finally and do something to the Terran. I mean, he's the choke point king, as Pig said, but does he want to come down this choke point? I don't know about that. Goes down the right-hand side here.
But the Terran, time there on 2-2. Enhanced shockwaves will come in as well. Colossus count is so monstrous, and that's why you kind of want to force a fight as Cyan. You're like, oh, do I go? He decides to back off and go double Robo Disruptor DTs. I'm not sure. Giving the moment for the Terran to recover, because there was no tanks and Vikings, right? Well, after you won that fight, nothing that deals with Colossus well. I think he should have looked for the push on the third. A little bit quicker, a little bit faster and harder. Yeah. Maybe he might have been able to break time, because Bio is so bad against Colossus Archon. You get enough EMPs for the Archons, though. It's fine. You get enough tanks and Vikings to deal with the Colossus. Oh, suddenly your army is better, especially with these great upgrades that Time has got.
Yep, heading towards 3-3. Protoss hasn't got any shield upgrades, actually. Excuse me, armor upgrades. He's heading towards +1 now, but that means that the Zealots are a little bit squishy. They're going to die quite fast to the Bio here. Now, I actually feel like that situation of that third Nexus was, and we talk about it right now, he's got a bit of a lull in the action, but that was another one of those situations similar to Time and Cyan's last series, where the Terran Time, I think, was so confident of his position that he got overconfident and just didn't pay attention to what his units were doing. He's just going, I'm going to A-move. I have too much here to lose. Because it looks like that. He looked like he had too much to lose.
It's that thing, dude. There's no such thing as too much when it comes to the French press. He's just able to plunge it out, press it out. And
the French press, man. Legend in his own time.
Yeah. Blink DT on the way. Not as effective on such a tiny map, I'd say, but definitely still has its opportunities. Cannons and batteries all over the shop and just kind of roaming. I would like to see Cyan be a little more assertive still. You got disruptors, get forward and start dropping them, force Time to be the one who's frantically moving his tanks around. He doesn't have libs. He's still very tank reliant, but look at this, he's just getting across the map for free.
Yeah. And not a whole lot of map control here for the Protoss, and Time's going to get that nasty position again. The reason why people don't want to play this map against Terran is this position here.
Oh, no. I don't, no. Where's the meat? Where's the meat? The Colossus are going down this time.
Oh, my God.
Oh, EMP Viking savagery.
Now, that looked a little bit more how we thought the fight would go the first time Time got in this position.
He's counterattacking. He's counterattacking. Zealot DT goes in.
Though.
Gets defended. EMPs on the DTs and the Zealots. And, oh my lord, he had a lifeline in this game, but he should have given up this base. I mean, number one, he shouldn't have let it move forward. He should have had control over the map, right? As we saw, you can't let tanks move across the map and siege up. That's a nasty army if it catches you by surprise.
Disruptor's getting pounced on here by the Marauders. The Vikings even landed now, realizing that their job in the skies is done. Time to jump down on the ground and get some DPS down. Disruption Novas have connected with a couple tanks. He's taking down a Ghost as well, but looks like a little bit too much Terran on the dance floor for Cyan to tango with. Mass Repair on the Planetary. Again, a scan going down as well. Robo gets taken out of commission, and there's nothing in production right now for Cyan. He's making some Invisible Men. A valiant choice. A good choice, even. But will it be enough to win the game? Nope. I don't think so.
No, I mean, it's some really nice micro after the first big fight, but things just kind of went south so quickly there, didn't they, Maynard?
They did,
It's
yep.
amazing that Time was able to get crushed in the first fight and then gets across the map. We saw the EMP Viking combo on the Colossus. The rest of the army was kind of lagging behind. Oof.
It just goes to show you when you cast your spells and you pay a little bit closer attention to what your army's doing, how just anti-Cyan's army Time's army was. Like, I know that's a weird sentence, but his army just super hard countered Cyan's and annihilated it.
Really good first push. Of course, this one got rid of the third. Massive advantage for Time from this point. He didn't clear the army, which is always a little bit of a bummer. You want to get rid of that Protoss army, but this is the fight. Look how clumped the bio is.
Yeah,
and the Vikings are just shooting Phoenix.
Apart from the lifted up tank, I don't think there's any micro at all here from the Protoss. And I don't think there's any micro at all from the Terran either. I think Time just thought, oh, just a move, I'll be right. Should be right, mate. Should be right.
Yeah, you could see focus to Colossus at the tail end of the fight. But, yeah, a decisive just jump on the army for Cyan. This one, the Colossus completely unsupported. And they all just get eradicated. I mean, that was a terrible fight for Cyan. He absolutely should have just given up this base, ran the probes away, and we would have got to see a longer game. And I would have loved to see how that would have played out. But from losing the Colossus, just massive army advantage. Clean finish up from Time.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, see Cyan getting a couple tanks there. Disruptors doing what they can, but the numbers just too far out of his favor at that point, and didn't even get the consolation prize Planetary. Feels bad, man.
Beautiful play there. And Time, he's still looking strong. One big botched engagement, though. And I mean, I always kind of go, hey, Cyan, you can't sit at home that defensive. You know, you got to cut off reinforced. You got to be active on the map. It's fights like that one which make me go, oh, I see why Cyan sits back so much. Because he just is like, please come fight me in my shield batteries. Let me engage you in a bit of a choke point. I'll even move into the choke point myself. The concentration of laser beams out of this world, you've got to kind of try to pull things back. And yeah, that was a good win for Time. A few shaky moments, but he does end up coming out victorious, and it's his map pick, so a very important one to take out.
That's right. So we're going over to Cyan's map pick right now. Time, because of the the map advantage for not having dropped a series just yet, is actually on 2-0. So 2 more wins for Time, and he is the champ for the 6th time in a row. Cyan still yet to get a point on the board, but again, it is his map pick coming up. I don't recall what map that is, but it is
Jagannatha, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yes. So a lot of Terran's least favorite in this map pool against Protoss.
Picking each other's vetoes from their previous series, so makes sense. I believe from there it's going to be Oxide for Time and 2,000 atmospheres for Cyan. So maybe Lightshade? No, not Lightshade. I think Romanticide. I think Time picked the big boy map, the big macro map, and it was actually Cyan who wanted the more kind of dynamic Lightshade movement focused map.
Alrighty. Well, I had the countdown. I believe the game just about to get loaded on in. Keen, man. Keen, let's get amongst it.
Indeed.
There it is. Look, we found that game. It was we had to rummage a little bit, but we found it. It was at the bottom of the bag underneath the tails. In the top right here, in the red, yet to get a point on the board. Looking to see if he can get it done here on Jagannatha. This is Cyan. Apologies for the soft J. It's becoming a bad habit.
Yeah, well, I mean, we should explain. It is Jagannatha is actually an ancient Viking word meaning ceremonial battlefield. So that's a true science fact that definitely is not made up. Down here in the bottom left side, wanting to be the hero of the ceremonial battlefield, representing Kaiser Gaming, this is Time.
Speaking of science facts, mentioned it yesterday, but yeah, Squid Game actress has mentioned that she's super addicted to watching the ESL Pro Tour. It makes her smile.
Yeah,
it's
she's really
in
been
Korean
enjoying the
Vogue.
show.
Look it up.
Yeah, my subscription actually ran out, unfortunately, but that really has inspired me to resubscribe to Korean Vogue. So keen to see, and it's just good to hear. There's people from all walks of life who find you don't have to be a high-level StarCraft player to enjoy watching this game. I mean, it's just the speed, the strategy, personality of the players. It is such a captivating thing to watch and enjoy. And these players, of course, are already going to start the skirmish off early. The probe going to disengage and try to let its shields regenerate. It wants to block the command center. The SCV is hot on its tail and saying, no, no, no.
No. One does not simply block the command center of time without a bit of a battle, without a bit of a scuffle.
Perfectly done. Comes back in right on a minute 40, but of course, being very damaged, only delays it for about 3 seconds. Not too big a deal. Marine comes forward. It's going to be a quick factory again for time. As the barracks is not producing, he's saving the money for that early factory. So, it's going to be straight reactor swap. All right, I like it.
Okay. So it could be a faster Hellion kind of opener here, which time definitely does like. So Coffee try it as well against Cyan. Try his hand with it. I'm guessing that's probably what he's going for here.
He has shown a liking time for the 4 invisible Widowmine drop as well. So maybe we'll keep our eyes on it. Obviously, Hellion's, I think, a bit more standard at the moment, but both options. And Cyan with the Stargate. Oracle, very good for scouting what's coming. Does mean you're a bit lighter on the Phoenix, though, when it actually comes on in. Obviously, Phoenix are what shuts down those sorts of pressures. You see exactly how this unravels the bunker. Finish there on the natural factory, floating on over. Starport does go down. And what do you got for us? Hellions. Does make sense, as he is starved on the gas. And at least 2 Hellions to push back map control. Scout, a great way to start off.
Indeed. Now, with the placement here on those buildings in the back, it is very, very deliberate. The Adept Shade cannot see that far. The finished shaded Adept, like the actual Adept itself, can see that far, but the Shade does not. And the Shade is all the Protoss is willing to send forward into the Terran's natural in fear of losing her forever. Was that Hellion into double Widowmine here from time, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Yeah, it looks like it. So Armory might go down shortly, as the medevac's already there. Yeah. This is the 4 Widowmine drop. I don't know why I saw it. I think he did this against Jaishi last time. So on this exact same map, same spawn as well. So he's gonna go for it. Usually does hit about 4 minutes 10. You fly into their base with it, and time just says, you know what? Ain't broke, don't fix it. I've used this in previous seasons. I'm going to use it again. And we'll be boosting out across that map. Hellions can always try to distract on the natural wall as well. Is he blocking the 3rd? He's not. That's a bit of a shame. Because if he was over there, he could actually pull units out of position as well. Denying the 3rd would have been brilliant here.
Certainly. And then when you pull things out of position, that means you can sometimes get in the main base with those race cars and find some serious probe damage. That would have been lovely.
Yeah, not to mention some boomy bombs. Drop some boomy bombs on those worker lines. Big boom boomy bombs, the best kind of boomy bombs, Maynard. All 4 of them. Too many for those Phoenix to pick up every single one.
Big bang boomy bombs. Oh, the probes! Oh, Cyan! I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, Cyan, I feel so bad.
Ooh, wow. Oh, great target fire by time as probes just not being pulled away. Bit of a sloppy mistake there. Unnecessary damage. I thought he was all over it, but I was like, yeah, this is a little annoying to handle, you know? 4 Widowmines, you've only got 3 Phoenix at the time. But as long as you pull your probes away, you're usually all right. And that's a big bit of damage. He does have a 3rd base finishing, though, and it's an expensive opening from time. His extra barracks are very delayed. So that's not game over. Don't be like, oh, he killed 11 probes. It's like, yeah, you lost a medevac and 4 Widowmines. And remember, he did, of course, invest in the Hellions, then the Widowmines. That's an expensive opening. His 2nd and 3rd barracks are super late. And there's a lot of time for Cyan to just regrow the economy, hit the probes, and transition onwards. It looks like it'll probably be a charge arc on Phoenix. So charge lot Phoenix sort of style for Cyan.
Okay, all right. It definitely can be useful. Still has, still has its place in the meta of the game, of course. Charge lots and Phoenix work very, very well in tandem, but I do get concerned about lack of splash damage if you delay it a little bit too long, especially in PvT or any VT matchup. The bio really starts to keep going and going. Like bio is one of those things that just is good at the start of the game and it's good at the end of the game. It never really loses value for the Terran unless unless there's a lot of splash damage units to punish those big clumps of high DPS units.
I really think, especially after the early damage as well, Cyan needs to be hitting the probes a bit harder. He's only been building 1 or 2 at a time for the last 30 seconds. You got 3 Nexi. I really think getting up to 55 workers is very important. He's also taking gas on his natural, which is interesting. So I guess he really wants to add quite a few Archons to this. Going on 4 gas, yeah, it's not as all in, but it definitely does slow down your Zealot Swarm getting out. That army's starting to move out. Ooh, good pullback on the Phoenix. He'll grab the Viking. Nicely done. And, yep, gets it just before it finishes landing.
Yeah. The animation of the Viking doesn't count as on the ground until it actually touches the ground. I know, the Terrans are just like, right now, but it's true. It's true. The rules of the game.
Till your feet are on the ground, you are flying. Big army coming on forward, though. Oh, he's forced to fight. Where are the Zealots? He's got like 2 Zealots. Oh,
they were over the left. Is this just stim for the win here for time, I think? The next wave of Chargebots does not have support.
Oh,
GG.
Yeah, Cyan getting caught out there. This is exactly the sort of weak spot I think that Coffee sort of exposed and sometimes failed to take advantage of in his series. 2 of those matches, really. Against Cyan, there's that point where Cyan is a little slow to mass up those Zealots at that stage, and time so decisive. As I said, you're like, oh yeah, here comes a push. It'll be pretty big. He just dives right on in and capitalizes on it. I think Cyan was expecting a bit more caution after playing against Coffee, who of course is always very slowly inching those tanks forward. But time, a different beast. He finds the weak spot and he just crushes.
Yeah. Apart from that one moment on Beckett, everything for time has been going to plan so far. And that's not good for Cyan, who finds himself needing to win the next 4 games in a row as time is already on match point in this grand finale. We're going to take a short break, guys. When we return, possibly the last map of the series, but we hope not. We'll see you guys soon. G'day, StarCraft mates. You are watching the DreamHack Masters Winter Chinese main event here, the grand finale of said tournament, with Time currently up 3-0 score-wise against his opponent Cyan. And so far, this has not been a banger pick. It has not been a banger. The potential is there, but Cyan yet to show us that that glimmer of hope that Time can be unseated as king of this region.
You know, StarCraft's one of the most brutal games out there, Maynard, right? You're always having to play on a knife's edge. You can't be too safe or you end up simply falling behind in the economy game. You can't be too greedy or you die to the early attacks. It is, you know, something where by its very nature, especially when you're outmatched, you very often go out either with a whimper or with a bang. And so far it's been a bit more of a whimper for Cyan, but it's not too late to turn things around.
Yeah, not too late to turn things around indeed. And it's something I've said, I can't even remember how many times, but I say it all the time on my stream when people talk about StarCraft 2 or when they lol kick XD, Ella giggle forehead at someone losing a game that doesn't look great. You can't look good losing a game of StarCraft 2. Especially when it's one of those ones that's like an all-in or something like that, which, you know, if it works, you look like a genius, and if it does not work, then you look like the worst player ever. That's sometimes what happens with those things, and that is, you know, speaks to the absolute nature of this, you know, brutal esport that we love so much.
Exactly. I mean, sometimes there are the rare gems where you see a player fight back from behind and do an impressive comeback, but that is always part and parcel with the other player making mistakes as well. It's a very imperfect game, all things around, and those exact same decisions could just as easily have been countered. The right decisions, by their very nature, when you're behind, involve big gambles. And if you gamble and your gambles don't pay off, you tend to look like a dummy, don't you? People are like, well, why'd you do that?
Yeah.
So it's a bit of that, you know, thing. You got to be confident in the face of it. And I think at this point, you know, time to bring out that proxy void ray again, Maynard.
I think so. You know, Cyan did get the W when he did that, didn't he? So, and it is Light Shade coming up next, right?
Yeah, 2000 Atmos, I think, actually.
Oh, okay, never mind. Okay. Light Shade was that map where Cyan actually did do the Void Ray Rush, although I think Time might be looking for it if I had to guess, I'd say that Time doesn't want to have to play against that again, so probably going to keep on board with the early scout.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, knowing Cyan, his map choice, I'm pretty sure we're going to just see a blink. Oh, no, it's Oxide. Actually, sorry, this is the Terran pick, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, this is definitely a proxy Void Ray map, Maynard. But he's not going to do it. No 12 pylon. In the top right side of the map, representing Good Game Gaming. He is one of the goodest gamers out there in the gaming world of gaming sports. This is Cyan.
But being the goodest of gamers in the gaming world for good games, is that good enough to beat Kaiser Gaming's Time? So far, the answer is no.
Monster mode so far. Barracks into gas there for Time. It's a nice way to start things off. Definitely, I like the Phoenix playing that last game. Perfect choice against what Time was doing. Just didn't find the mark. Yeah. Big Widow Mine hit, making it all worth it there. Just a bit lazy on the pool from Cyan. A lot of things to manage, but a little frantic. Staying calm in the chaos. One of those important things you need against an aggressive Terran like Time.
Yeah. And even though you look at Time and as a viewer might be like, oh, he's playing relatively standard, you know, he's just a normal macro Terran for the most part, he's actually definitely more on the aggressive side. When you look at a lot of his games, especially, you know, when you watch him in the season finals and that sort of thing, which, you know, if he wins this final, be seeded directly back into groups for the season finals of winter again for the third season this year. He generally loves those, as his namesake, timing attacks. He loves them. Yeah, 3 Raxes, drop timings, siege pushes, that kind of thing. All those things that line up with a bunch of upgrades. That is his bread and butter. That's where he makes a lot of his money.
Well, the reactor coming down. Command center is, of course, on the way. This all does delay the next little bit. Often in this case, you see the 3 racks follow up, but it is going to be factory this time around. So, interesting to see which direction it goes. SCV does come home. Stargate goes down again. Cyan loves his Stargate play.
Unfortunately, he also loves the Adepts. Hopefully the second one coming here is the last one. I'm so, like, I'm such a hater, man, on the on the Adepts in PvT.
Justifiably so, Maynard.
Thank you for backing me up.
You know, if we teleport back in time to 2016 and we're at DreamHack Leipzig and Drogo's holding a trophy with 230
Those
hit
were the
points
days
adepts,
Yep.
then yeah, I'm down with it. Those were good adepts. Those were pretty damn good adepts.
Yeah, Phoenix
I believe
Adept,
that's
man.
back when you could still get a shield. I mean, this was before even Phoenix Adept. This was just you make 6 adepts and kill them. They could 2-shot Marines and SCVs back then. They did 1 extra damage, which is pretty impactful in this matchup. And I believe they had an upgrade to give them plus 70 shields. So yeah.
Small but important details. People say maths doesn't matter in video games. Those people are nerds.
Like, I think that's the opposite of what they are.
No, Pig. All right, you're talking crazy talk right now. All right, you're being silly right now. You're live in front of 4,000 people, nearly 5,000 actually. So, don't say silly things.
Adepts taking out a Hellion there on the way across the map. Denies the scouting a little bit. And I don't mind 3 Adepts. You know, the 3 Adept dive's great. I just don't like the 6 Adept dive can work actually quite well, but plenty of Marines have been built this game, so this is not the game where it'll work, definitely. Sees the Marine count, you go, okay, he built the reactor early, he's gone non-stop. Those like 6 Adept dives, they work really well against a Terran who has gone like early Widow Mines and they're up in the main, or they've just loaded into the medevac and then you dive. He's going to go with the Oracle actually. Ooh, the Oracle laser does do good damage there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this was well thought out here from Cyan for sure, and he is going to find some SCV damage. Absolutely.
This is great. This is massive, actually. This is so much damage. I think he should get out now, though. Remember, he's overstayed with his Adepts a few times in the previous games. So now you just disengage, keep the Oracle alive, keep the Adepts alive. You've found all the damage you're going to find. Gets 1 more Marine. And, yeah, shade on out. Perfect. I mean, he doesn't lose a single unit.
Yep. Cyan's just been trading, energy on the Oracle for damage, and the Adepts are still back here being nuisances.
So greedy, but he gets away with it. He's not going to lose a single Adept, I don't think. Oh my gosh.
Wow. Okay, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, this strategy could have looked really dumb to Cyan, but it worked so insanely well that now he looks like a genius.
And Marines, 8 SCVs. That is ridiculous, dude. This is, I don't like to call games as over, but, you know what? That's a hype building mechanism, Maynard. If Time wins this game, he is not just the king. He becomes a god king. You know, we make our own little religion around Time. We're like, he is greater than just man. He is the emperor of man. And we must all bow down to him and pray for him and, you know, ask for his blessing before we sit down to eat our Protoss dinner.
This shade does finish, but I don't like this one as much. The medevac's here for these Marines.
No, that's a nonsense shade, man.
This one was that was a poopy butts shade right there.
Yeah, Mr. Poopy Butts there. Not the biggest one. The Phoenix do find damage, though, in the main. Oracle can turn on its laser beam. Ooh.
Oh, Widowmine grabs a Phoenix there. Oracle does laser beam down some stuff. 5 SCVs died, but let's have a look at the trade there. It did not look good at all. Or, yeah. Quite a bit of damage.
Very positive, of course, doing more SCV damage when you're this far ahead. It's a good trade just because you're so far ahead, but it's like, oh, it's fine. Now, obviously, if he did something like that again, it would be terrible because his units are important to defend the push. He's got such a giant economy. It's like a ridiculous economy advantage. He just needs to be massing charge lots. Remember, he got killed in the last game because he didn't do it. How many gateways does he have? Is it only 4 or 5 gates so far? 6 gates. He needs a few more than that. Okay, 2 more finishing. He'll be at 8 gateways soon. I think he should still be able to defend this push. He's building cannons everywhere. But, yeah, I mean, Cyan, you defend this push, and it's game over. But, I mean, you defend this ball of Marines. You're a little light on units right now.
Stasis Ward attempted to be fired off there by that one sacrificial Marine. Did not work out. There we go.
Time
Stasis Ward
didn't
gets fired
even
off.
panic stim. He knew Cyan would back off. He doesn't stim till now when the fight actually happens. Great patience there from Time. Unfortunately, there's a Zealot for each Marine.
Yeah. A Zealot for every man, woman, and child. I guess it's just the dudes in the Marine Army. And now the medevacs are in trouble because the Phoenixes are close in distance. The charge bots grabbing anything that drops out of these medevacs, and Cyan has got himself in a wonderful spot here in this game.
Zealot's Phoenix, just a nice dominating way to play it. Now, I gotta say, Maynard, it's cool that this Zealot Phoenix style came out. I don't mind him doing it this way in this game where he's way ahead. But 6 gas Zealot Phoenix. He's got 1,000 gas in the bank. He's making armor upgrades. So what's that transition for? So I've got to say, this is kind of where he was headed when he just got killed and bopped in that previous game, right? Where he was like trying to make the Zealots and then just bam, died. So I look at this and I go, Cyan, what's the game plan? Why are you going to 6 gases? Because Mass Archon, in that case, you should be going attack upgrades. If you can add Archons, not armor upgrades, they don't help them. So to me, it feels like you've got to lead. You're going to crush it anyway. It doesn't really matter. But I do think I'd like to see Cyan be a little bit more tailored with his strategies. Because remember, he was behind after that big Widow Mine hit and did the same thing. He tried to go like 4 gas. It looked like he was heading towards 6 gas and Archons, and he just died before having it because he didn't have enough Zealots. So I think there's a big advantage to be had for Cyan in this series if it can be a little less predictable and sometimes cut the gas a bit, go a bit heavier on the minerals, get the gateways up, and really just, you know, have that zest backstab ready, you know? 10 Zealots run into the natural of time when he's halfway across the map with his push, and you can still hold on at home. You know, be a bit more dangerous. Cyan is so defensively oriented that I worry that he doesn't throw enough danger out there for time to worry about.
How do you feel about the ship weapons here? It looks like he wants to keep making that Ball of Phoenix and keep that being a factor in this game.
Yeah, never have to make Blink Stalkers, I guess, so I don't mind it, honestly. He's already got quite a few Phoenix. +1 air weapons is pretty cheap. It's 100. I don't know about doubling down past that point. I think just +1 air is okay. Leave it at that. And in this case, he's going to try and obviously pick all these units up. Widow Mines, Marines, Marauders moving out to the left side of this map. And we'll see exactly how it goes.
Oh, tank goes for it, picks it up, going to pick it off. Time's army cut off from the natural here. The Widow Mines try to burrow, but the quick liftoffs there from Cyan takes them all out of contention. SCV's being pulled to the front line, but they're going into the Archons.
Oh, if the Archons could just get a few big hits off there. Yeah, it's like you drag them into the choke point, you clump up to limit the Zealot surface area. Turns out when you do that, you also get massive Archon hits on your face and just way too behind in the numbers there. Cyan with a fantastic opening. I don't think in his wildest dreams he was expecting to do that much damage with 3 Adepts and an Oracle.
It was literally flawless. He disengaged with those 3 Adepts, disengaged with that Oracle, and didn't lose a single resource. It was as good as it possibly could have gone. The strategy from Cyan, a really good call at the start of the game, and when it goes that well for you at this highest of a level, and Cyan, you know, sure, he could have thrown, but when you're really good at the video game, unlikely for you to make as many mistakes, and certainly not a big enough one to throw away a lead this good. And he even had a follow-up assault that wasn't too bad either. But this hold here kind of sealed the deal for Cyan. Like you said, he just needed to hold and he would win this game.
And he absolutely did just that. Shut that push down. The Zealot Phoenix, it excels in a scenario where the opponent kind of has to push into you because there's no escape. You do not get home after losing a fight to Zealot Phoenix. I think maybe 1 Marine got home from that whole army. The Phoenix taking out every single medevac, and it is what it is.
That's right. And I mean, Time was like, I'm going to pick the best position possible to get into this tiny little choke point, but there's just too many Protoss units. And once the Archons get into that choke point, there is no escape, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Cyan turning this into a series, my man.
Dude, I think that's what he needed as well. Just a big confidence boost to the Oracle Adept. The 3 Adepts, you know, with the Oracle, a nice combo there. I was like, there's too many Marines, this doesn't work. But of course, you join the Oracle in as well. You focus down 2 of those Marines early. Those aren't Stim Marines. They don't have the same firepower. And without having a Cyclone or a Widow Mine or something there to change the math, it becomes very hard. That looks very different if there's, say, 1 Widow Mine in the mineral line, because it just blows up an Adept, gets the other 2 pretty weak. The Marines and SCVs finish them off. Oracle goes down. You lose a few SCVs and you're completely good.
Well, countdown has begun and we are about to get into the next game here. Time, of course, still on match point. This could be the end of the series still, but it's good to see a glimmer of hope for our Protoss underdog.
Indeed, dude. It really is. So it's nice to see that the series is now kind of, you know, it's not just Cyan making little mistakes here and there. Time as well, you know, a weak spot just exposed. It didn't even look like a giant mistake. It was just, hey, that build at that moment, a little vulnerable to that particular maneuver and does take a fair bit of damage. So cool to see. And another game, maybe another game. It's his map pick in the top right-hand side. He says, I may very well be the goodest of gamers, and I have my chance to prove it now. In the top right side, this is Cyan.
He's bought himself a little bit more life in this series. He's bought himself a little bit more time. How's that for a player intro? You like that?
It was beautiful, Maynard.
Thank you.
It was beautiful. I just wanted to let it settle. I didn't want to comment at first.
Yeah,
Because,
no, you got to let that thing marinate. You know, something that good.
Let it just hang a little bit in the air. The kind of echoes resound around, and you know you can give yourself a moment to feel the depth, right? Feel the gravity of the situation, and gravity. I mean, if I knew something about physics, there'd be a joke there about gravity and time and how they're entwined. But I don't actually understand how any of that works. It's basically Protoss magic to me.
Gravity is Protoss magic. Pig 2021.
What could I say, dude? I'm from the fake continent Australia, so you know how it is.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I love living in our fake country that doesn't exist.
It's cool, man.
Pretending
like
that
jumping animals with a pouch they keep their babies in.
Yeah, it's like, you know.
Do people bought that?
Yeah, tons of people think that Australia is real. It's actually crazy. They're like, oh yeah, there's definitely an island out there with hopping dogs and and you know little tiny bears that are the size of a terrier.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, absolutely.
Like the platypus? Like, come on. Yeah.
Yeah, the platypus. Like, oh yeah, the platypus is real.
It's like a duck and a beaver. We just like blended it together. It's totally real, guys.
a duck and a beaver with poison claws.
It's ridiculous.
Nice one, Australia.
Oh, such good memes, man. It really is fantastic to see that, you know, that could go down. And, you know, it's also good to see that Cyan's got a point on the board, and he's going to go Adept again. Twilight Council, all right. No Stargate this time around. I mean, he's very good with the Blink Robo, and I was kind of criticizing him for just the defensive Blink Robo, but I was saying if there's something he's going to do on 2000 Atmos, it's 3-gate Blink Robo, take a third, macro on up. And he's in a rather standard position, right? Time has just a standard kind of Marine reactor. Does skip the bunker, so a little bit of greed from Time, but he's going to intercept that Adept.
Yep. Adept gets pushed back there, but is going to be able to get that shade over to the barracks. I mean, every Terran is going to be putting their factory in Starport or second barracks or whatever further away from the Adept scout, because it is extremely common for Protoss to scout with Adepts. And yeah, it's cool. Honestly, it's refreshing to see Cyan go for the
bad dive.
That was not smart.
I mean, it's 2 Marines for an Adept. It's not the worst trade. Obviously, it's a 25 gas deficit. Does lower the count of units. So, I mean, you could argue that Adepts aren't going to trade well later on. Hey, okay. Was that an SCV that he got?
I think it was. Adept's dead, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but, you know, it's like, oh, yeah, you know, this is good compared to fighting Stim Marines with Adepts later on. But then you've got to remember those Adepts could tank for better units like Colossus behind them. Also, those Adepts pretty useful for defending Marine and Mine drops, right? There's still this kind of in-between phase before we get to Stim and Shields where the Adepts are useful units for a while longer. You now don't have them supporting. So you've got, I think, 2 Stalkers out right now and not much else at all.
Yeah, 2 whole Stalkers and 39 probes is what Cyan's got for him. And as the Hellion pokes at the natural, it is going to be excused for the Stalker there. There's a nice wall off against the Hellion, so at least that has been deflected. But
oh, he's going to get it.
That's not everything Time has. Oh, yeah.
That's really good.
A little bit of block.
Just pushes back the map vision a bit, and I like the probe on the watchtower as well, as that tire does go up to the surface. And we don't mind drop coming into the main. He's warped in 2 Stalkers there, 4 Stalkers right on its path.
Mm-hmm.
And changes his path, so well done. Time might just leave it there and wait. A lot more Terrans doing this recently, where they're like, nah, we'll just wait. Everyone's ready at the timing, you know, when it comes in, 4 minutes 35, 440. But if I do it while my Raven's dropping an auto turret behind your natural, let's see you handle that.
And Time does like his multi-pronged harassments. That's a lot of Terrans do. The Raven that hit at the same time as the medevac with the Winter Mines is trying to distract the Protoss. Attention is a resource, etc., etc. You hear that a lot from the StarCraft gurus.
Indeed. Robo Bay about to finish there for Cyan. So the pretty quick Colossus play, but having a quick third up as well. I mean, that's a pretty sick economy. You know, you've got the tech coming up with the splash damage at a not terrible timing. You're gonna have at least 1 Colossus, probably 2 ready by the time the stim push comes. And you've also got a pretty good economy lead. So Cyan building forwards in a very nice manner so far, like quick upgrades, quick Colossus, and a quick third. I mean, he's got this up off a bare bones set of defensive units, and time hasn't really pressed the issue, so Cyan's got away with it.
Certainly has. He's beasting with his economy on the other side of the map. He's looking lovely here. This is actually the strongest macro game we've seen from Cyan so far in the series, just because of the start of the game, the build order choice, all this sort of stuff. It just seems to have worked out for him. Of course, it is, because it's a normal PvT macro-wise, both players playing very normally, it does mean that the Terran, as is usually the case in a normal PvT, is going to have a army supply spike. So the Terran has the power of a bigger army, which means the Terran is going to be attacking the Protoss soon. So Cyan just needs to be wary of that. He is starting his Colossus production. Auto turret harassment here from Time, gets 3 probes. Oh, maybe a 4th if they come back from mining any target fires. No, okay. 3 probes, not bad. It's just energy on the Raven, easy peasy.
Now, shield battery is so good at defending those. If you don't have a shield battery, the Raven can ruin your day, but shield battery just helps stall out the damage a bit. Double auto turrets can get through it, but just one alone cannot charge. Dude, he's going to have charge +1, 2 Colossus. I think, did he remember range? I'm not sure if I saw range upgrading.
I don't remember extended thermal lance, no. Oh, no.
That's a bummer. That could definitely affect things. And, it's such a big economy lead. You really need to focus on nothing but mass zealots as Cyan right now. And the Raven doesn't have energy. So, I mean, it's not going to be able to put the Matrix on your Colossus. Honestly, looking at this, if you're a Cyan fan, you're hoping he just turtles, defends, and then counterattacks with 3 Colossus and a Warp Prism. I don't see Time defending that, unless Time can get big damage right now.
What's happening at 6 o'clock, by the way?
I think that's a proxy gate zealot warping. I think he's getting ready to backstab.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Wonderful.
It's not going to find any damage, though. Time has not been rallying across the map, so he should have plenty of units on top of his ramp.
Yeah, it looks like maybe one Zealot bleeding off to the 3rd base there. Might find an SCV or 2, but certainly enough reinforcements to clear up the Zealots. Good SCV pull there from Time. And
I like that he runs to the left, doesn't lure the army over to his proxy gate. So that's actually a very kind of dangerous proxy gate, but he could pay off big. And if you time those out to come in at the right moment, it can be massive. He's got a Warp Prism. He's got +2. Cyan, like I said, if he can get out there, dude, the tanks aren't sieged.
Great catch from Cyan, and Time knows the only way to save these tanks is to load them up and boost them out of harm's way.
Cyan on the warpath right now. He might want to wait a bit longer, but he's going to go for it. He's just going to dive. Oh, no. He backs off the tank siege. I think he could jump on it. Oh, he shows the gateway. Zealot's coming from the... I honestly think Cyan can kill him right here, right now.
I agree. Even though the army supply is higher for Time, Cyan has the ability to trade well against an army like this. He's got these 2 Colossi, +1 attack on them as well. They're hitting pretty hard on these units which don't have armor. The Marines are extremely vulnerable. They may as well not exist against those Colossi.
Cyan just gave up the left watchtower. There's a big push coming. He doesn't know that it's there. He's going to see it with the Zealot now.
Oh, no, he doesn't.
Okay, he'll find out in a moment. His army is here, though. Luckily, he needs to be there to intercept it. Oh, force field.
Time wants to bounce. He wants this.
Oh, he's got to force field that choke point. Batteries. Ooh, where's the healing?
Yeah, the battery is incredibly important here, but looks like he might be saving it in the back pocket just for when the Terran gets a little bit closer. Big Zealot run by the natural. Time does have more units on the ramp, but it doesn't look like enough.
Oh, the Disruptor shot does get some of those units. Colossus getting big shots, but the tank's sieging right on top of that army. Dude, the battery overcharge trying to help, but the Colossus are getting absolutely smashed. The Zealots, though, on top of that army. Cyan's going to hold.
He holds, but Time still with a large army supply lead. Had another few more tier 3. He's got the robo here, which is wonderful. That robo at the 3rd base did not die, so he's able to still continue to get more rounds as he game to Time, which luckily was not the case. He did disengage after... You sure if we still have Pig? I cannot hear him, so...
Sorry about that. There we go, mate. Sorry. Mic button. Dude, the factory's blocked. The tanks can't placement, and tanks have not been able to produce for the last 30 minutes. And not popping out, so Time's production hurting.
There's an unfortunate mistake there for Time. He has a force on the front door, but it is not better here from Cyan. Cyan's still being so careful, so trepidatious to commit to an actual assault those tier 3 units in for a fight yet. It's just been the gateway.
Up the double upgrades, he does notice. Okay, he lifts the barracks, he moves it away of where he could have been for Time right here. So that's a big bummer in terms of that tank count. He's going to get his +2 weapons, so he'll be 2-1. But there's going to be 3-1 for Protoss in the next minute or two. Dark Templar on the way as well. Cyan taking a 5th base. He's getting ready for the late game is Cyan. And Time, though, he's got a 4th command center on the way. He's trying to prepare for that next stage. So we'll see exactly how he goes.
Big charge lots coming into the top side. Time obviously has that center tower, so should be able to react relatively quickly. He's got an army sort of in position, just gets deleted by those Vikings.
Oh, no, this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. Cyan. So this is what Cyan's been lacking in this series. Poorly timed Zealot run-bys. He had one really good one that got the 20 SCVs, but the other ones have just been like, hey, let's send a drop in and some Zealots. But his main army wasn't even on the map. So the only way that works is if you push forward and you scare him with your main army, you force his army to react, then you can get in. But if his army's not on the map, Time's just sitting at home, and you send in a Zealot run by and a drop, it's not going to do anything, right? There's no way. He's at home with a maxed army. So I think very wasteful for Cyan, and he's given away a lot of minerals. This has given a lot of time, a lot of duration, a lot of a period for Time to slowly regrow. And because of that, Time's got a big army. His upgrades are catching up. EMPs gathering energy on those ghosts. Radius for them done. Tanks and Viking count growing as well. It's not a mobile army for Time though. With so many tanks and Vikings, he's very immobile. That's his weakness. That's what Cyan's going to have to look to take advantage of.
I do like the Invisible Man at any point in the video game, especially with Shadow Stride. So Cyan is heading towards that particular technology. Rounding out his double upgrades, +3 attack is done. Now working on armor. He's got the extra money. He can put that towards shields, but it's a lot more important to keep those production cycles coming in to max out here for Cyan. Down a bit in supply and army here. Another Zealot run by, but Time right there to meet him.
Yeah. No, not particularly good. I mean, he's replacing them with better units, you could argue. But I would actually argue Zealots are better than Archons at this point because there's so many ghosts out. Having a few Archons in your army is okay. Any more than that, it's just basically shooting gallery for the EMPs. The EMPs will knock their shields off so quickly. Archons are not the unit you want at this stage.
Nova coming forward there from Cyan. A second one as well, whiffs. Time's trying to pick a different angle. He's got a lot of energy on these ghosts.
Oh, he's got so many Vikings. The Colossus are going to be... Uh-oh. Bad angle for Cyan. Cyan is in a terrible position. He's going to have to attack around the corner.
Oh, man. He is eating tons of EMPs here. And the Colossi trying to be useful here against the Bio. They're barely getting any shots off because these Vikings are zoning Cyan so well. This Nexus is super dead. It's free for Time to pick off. DTs, though, hitting the third base. Zealots in the main. Cyan making this not free for Time.
He might have to recall to his natural. He's got DTs going in, but scans are plenty. The third base getting ransacked for Time as well. And there we go. He's going to come in from behind. The Disruptors do find a few pretty decent hits. The Colossus are going down, though, Maynard. He's going to lose all of his Colossus before the fight even happens.
The Archon's trying to get under those Vikings now. Looking for the Bio, but I think that Cyan's leading a few too many units. These charge lots. Oh, the charge lots can make the difference. In come the charge lots now. Pushing back the Bio, exposing the tanks a little bit, but no, those charge lots, man, they're dying so quick.
Oh, he clears the tanks, though. A lot of the medevacs go down. And remember, 29 SCVs died in the midst of this. Cyan forcing the natural to lift. He might... Okay, the main did get cleared up, but the third base as well was forced to lift. So his Time, having two of his mineral lines just totally ransacked. He pulls back, still very similar army values. Cyan is going to try and attack in there. Planetary Fortress says no. He's got to pull back.
Yeah, the Planetary is definitely a little bit too hard for Cyan to break right now. Army supplies very, very similar. Upgrades slightly in favor of the Protoss, although +3 attack is just about to finish. Ghosts. Oh, as he sees the Shimmer. Ah, okay. The DTs saw the Ghost before the Ghosts saw the DTs. Could have dropped an EMP on them and then picked them off. But,
so low economy, though, for Time. So DTs are the game winner because he's only got a few orbitals. If you just split the DTs up, split them up, run. Oh, my God, he gets a Ghost. Oh. And it blinks out, gets some of the DTs out, but that's... I really think split up. If you just keep running into the third, the main, the natural... Picking off turrets, picking off units. These DTs are going to be so hard for Time to deal with. He's in that low economy position where he wants to drop mules, but he can't. He's got to save everything for scans, and he still doesn't have that many scans available. So keep splitting the DTs up, looking for the harassment, maybe get a squad of them looking and roaming. But Time, he's actually going to split up and push down the right side of the map. Cyan grouping up for a recall.
And DT's going to come and hit that base again. Recall does go over to the right side. 3 o'clock looking very, very safe. DT's come in, but there is a turret, and oh, that blink not too fast there, so they die for not much value.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting as the +3 armor kicks in. The upgrade upgrades look kind of even, essentially. No +3 armor for Cyan, but he does have a plasma shield upgrade, which helps. Time's army getting really sick again, though. He's getting all these pieces together. It's such a close game. I mean, the 5th base being unlocked is fantastic, I think, for Cyan, but Time, he's unlocking his one as well. He's going to make a planetary over there. If he gets it up to a 5 base versus 5 base, I mean, the advantages don't really exist for Cyan anymore. It's all going to come down to how the fight's unraveling. I mean, Cyan seems to have one gear, and that is I sit at home and wait for you to overextend, and I'll backstab you. But I really want to see Cyan pushing. He's got Disruptors, which is such a scary army. I don't think he rebuilt any Colossi, did he?
Not too sure.
Three.
He's got 3. Okay, so I guess
only
he did.
4 Vikings. So they're actually a really good unit. Yeah, he could be roaming right now. Get in there before the Viking count's high. So many Disruptors. I really feel that Cyan could be pushing right now because he's not really building his economy. He's not building probes. He's just kind of chilling and building up his army.
Whoa. Cyan never got extended thermal lance. He's forgotten it.
No way.
Yep.
Still?
Yep. He still had, like, Insano just brought up the upgrades tab.
That's massive, dude. That's so huge.
Man, those ghosts. I could listen to them die all day. It's music. But we do... The Vikings looking for those Colossi. Disruptors zoning, though, doing what they do best here for the Protoss.
What a good game, dude. I'm so happy this has turned into a series at this point. Obviously, Time wants the victory. He wants to just finish this off with a cancel in the top left. Cyan's ready to attack the planetary. Does he have enough to defend at home, though?
Well, this army looks not bad. It's enough to make Cyan rethink it. He does get the tank with the Disruptors, which is great. At least doesn't lose any of the robotics units. Time's army was...
I feel like he saw a Psystorm on the production tab, but I'm not sure. No.
Okay. So still just on Archons, as far as that's concerned.
Ooh, army rotating. Time's grouping everything. He's grouping everything together. I think Cyan's done the same, though. I'd like to see more observers out of Cyan. Honestly, I think tracking where the army is huge. Things have gone wrong for Cyan in this series when he loses track of Time's army and Time just pushes by surprise. That's where Cyan's being crushed in the engagements. So if he can just keep a few more observers out there, keep track of this army, I actually think Cyan will do really well. But as it is, it all comes down to the fight. And when you're attacking into him like this, ooh, the EMPs are going to be big.
Great EMPs there from Time. Cyan getting pushed back. Now's the moment where he should send those DTs into 9 o'clock and pick off that base at least. Like, yes, Cyan's going to lose this Nexus, but that planetary gets killed. SCV is also about to join that planetary in hell, where all planetaries go.
I think this is actually, this can be better for the Protoss if you keep getting base snipes like that, right? Because it's something where, you know, you've got the bottom right base. Losing the 11 probes was the real damage. Ouch, 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 ouch. Loses a few of the DTs. Oh, big army clash. A few medevacs will go down.
And medevac pickoffs are quite nice here. There's a lot of bio that needs healing and not a lot of energy on those medevacs. Disruptor Novas come forward. EMPs land. That Nova well split by Time.
Great dodges from Time.
Oh, except for that one moment.
He's used all his disruptors, Maynard. That's the last one. Time's going to jump on him. Time will chase him down now. Time knows those disruptors are on cooldown, but good evacuation for Cyan. Cyan, he's so short on money. It's hard to afford those big DT remaxes that he wants. He's now remembered the +3 armor still. No extended thermal lance for Big Daddy Longlegs Colossus. They are still shooting at just 7 range rather than the potential of 9 they could have been shooting at this entire game.
Yeah, a big mistake, but will it cost them the game? I mean, so far, no. But the game is not over yet, and this is a planetary sniping ball of DTs just going to blink right on top of it, right-click it, and then say, see you, mate.
Yeah, he's got to get out. I like how he just leaves like 1 or 2 DTs there. The SCVs actually take him out, revenge. But very nice snipe, and these sort of moves are big. Zealots on the left posturing. And if he actually pushes the 3rd in the middle of the map, that's where Cyan can find a weak spot. If he goes up the guts right now, he could get in there and find some good disruptor shots. Obviously, he's worried about getting surrounded by the bio. Stalkers, though. Some trades. Oh, no! Two of them, Maynard?
Is this Viking going to get a double kill? Prism saves it just in time there.
If he lost 2 Colossus to a Ghost and a Viking, that would have been Tilt Town. Like, he would be like, sorry, stepping on the express. I can't hear you. Terran is Ember. Terran is Ember.
Now, Time's actually going to have an army in position for this DT run by this time. The big ball of units here in the middle, though. Oh, it feels so weird to have your army split when Cyan's army, like his ball of units in the middle, is so powerful. Time pulls back from 9 o'clock. He needs to set up a concave here.
Ooh, Zealot DT coming in on the left side. That planetary will take a lot of damage. Disruptors getting a few decent shots, but overall, great spreads from Time. Time's coming in with the flank.
Oh my god. That engagement was beautiful for Time. He split there against the Disruptors and then ran into a scary-looking choke point as soon as he saw that all the Disruption Novas had fired and the Colossus was left without any support.
Dude, he doesn't have recall. It's on cooldown, I think.
Oh, he
no,
just
he got them out. He got them out.
Yep, he did.
Oh, it must have just come off cooldown. So this is actually such good recall play. He saved a lot of DTs. He killed a base in the bottom left. Cyan, I mean, I know he lost a lot of units there, but he's done economic damage. Time feels like he's got to push. His economy's in shambles. There's disruptors out. Anytime you're forced to push through disruptors, it's a problem, but there's not many out just now for Cyan.
Good tank spot here for Time. The right-click those robotics units to be a really, really good start to this engagement. So he starts to leapfrog down.
DTs again!
Mass repair, but not
dude.
enough. I think the DT's going to get it this time.
Oh, and the disruptors are doing so well at the same moment. This is so hard for Time. Giant disruptor!
I think Cyan might have done it here, Pig. A big blink forward there. The charge loss joining in with the bio DTs from the backside. What a PBT from Cyan. External thermal lance. That's for Betas.
7-range thermal lance, all you need. You know what they say, Maynard? It's not about how long they shoot. You know, it's not about the range. It's about how you use the range that you've got. Those Colossus may not have been the most girthy, the ones that were most gifted, but they did end up getting the damage done. And fantastic game for Cyan from a very scrappy late game.
For all you Protosses out there that are feeling inadequate in your games, Pig couldn't have nailed it better. It's not the size of the lance, it's how you use it. And Cyan used it beautifully. The balls too, honestly. They used them pretty well as well. A couple whiffs, but that connection at the end really sealed the deal there for Time. And now Cyan finds himself with 2 wins in a row, still alive in this grand final. A lot more work to do, though. He's got to get another 2 maps in a row against the monster that is Time.
Dude, we saw the trick as well. It's not about, oh, you know, disruptors never hit pros. It's like, yeah, but if you hit him with DTs and take out his economy at the same time, it's microing its DTs and dealing with disruptors, they start to land. Not only that, it's you do big damage elsewhere, and it becomes very hard because the disruptors, with a very high supply efficiency, they control an area, right? So you with like 5 disruptors can slow down the advance of a giant 100 supply Terran army for what, 5 disruptors? I don't even know what the supply of a disruptor is, probably 2 or 3, something like that. It's not that much. So, you know, it's this massive ability to slow down a much larger force while you're doing damage elsewhere, and it's exactly what Cyan did in that game.
Well, we're about to have our next game, guys. We'll take a short break. When we return, Time versus Cyan will resume. So don't go away. We'll see you then. G'day, my StarCraft mates. Chatland, welcome back to the DreamHack Masters Winter main event here for China. I am Pig. I did it again. That's actually the second time I've done that in this broadcast. Not this broadcast, but this tournament.
Well, it's good. It's good to welcome Maynard's subconscious to the broadcast, and you know what?
Hello, Freud.
A little bit of a slip there, eh, mate?
Yeah, a little bit of a slippy slip. I am Pig. With me is Maynard. I wish. Fingers crossed under the table. But
I have a deep voice and shout about StarCraft.
I wear glasses and have a lot of numbers in my brain.
Well, it's good you do, because I don't know too much about the game. Kat's already told me that, so, I'm just here to shout.
Yeah. The key to being a good play-by-play commentator is not knowing much at all. That way you get really excited about everything.
You don't know enough to see that the things have already been decided before they happen. It's great.
There it is. Yeah. That's why all the really brainy commentators are never excited ever. They just sit there with a constant monotone because nothing's a surprise and nothing's interesting. Life is just a bland grey paste.
And they're always correct, Maynard. We've learned this from the Home Story Cup couch.
Always.
Where there's announcements that are made, and they're always correct. They're never then surprised that it didn't work out the way they said.
I've never seen a surprise pro gamer in my life.
No, it doesn't happen. It's almost never. Honestly, it is cool to see exactly how it goes, though, in this series, because I think Time's a little surprised at his terrible base placement that locked his tanks in and meant he was 3 tanks shy in that game. 3 tanks, Maynard. Can we just give a quick seminar for any Terran players out there? You want your buildings in neat rows with 2 space gaps between. And that includes the add-ons as well. Otherwise, your tanks can't get through the roads. You've got to plan your Terran streets so your tanks can get in and out and around. Watch innovation and study, because that man is literally a robot and his building's the most perfectly placed you've ever seen.
It's true. You know, part of the reason I picked Terran actually was, I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, I'm a little bit OCD about some things. And I love that I can just neatly line up my buildings as a Terran. And it just feels so satisfying when they all line up and then you do the rotation on the building, they land and the add-ons, snap to it. I'm just like, it just feels so good just to play this race.
Oh, it's so nice, isn't it?
You get laser beamed by space elves magic and...
Yep, that's the way, mate.
At least my buildings look good.
Well, as long as they don't type GP in the chat before they do it, Maynard,
oh my God.
It's not gonna be good.
Not in front of everyone right now, Pig. You don't trigger me that hard. In the top left, guys, winning 2 maps in a row. Can he win this map and tie it up and take it to the ace match? This is Good Game Gaming, Cyan.
In the bottom right-hand side, he's the favorite in this series, but he's finding himself losing ground. Can he stop the avalanche? It's time. Playing Kaiser Gaming. The snow's starting to kind of fall down the slope a little bit, starting to gain speed and momentum. Gonna have to take shelter and stop it soon. It is, of course, Time's map pick Romanticide. Now, this is a map where recently we've seen players play a lot of super late game against Protoss. Cure has actually done it a few times in online cups and brought it out again in the GSL there, because, hey, I'm going to just turtle on up and defend and survive and crush you later on. Maru, a big fan of it on this map. And when a Terran picks it, I always wonder, is it that? Are you wanting to turtle if it goes late enough? Or is it, yeah, that's plan B if we get there, but basically I just want to drown you in bio mine drops, because that can be pretty darn fantastic too.
Absolutely. Do you like drowning with the mine drops? Like I'm a fan of the mine drop strategy. I know it's very ho-hum, it's vanilla. It's like, yeah, all right, man. We've seen 111 into medevac mine drop 1,000 times, but I just like it. I think it stood the test of time because it is just so effective, and it's just one of those builds in TVP I never see leaving. It's a scout, it's damage, it's defense as well. The Widow Mines. Yeah. It's just it's kind of like the Stargate for Protoss. Honestly, it can do it all. It's so versatile.
Versatility, definitely something that these players are looking for in a lot of their games, and it's Twilight Council again from Cyan. I've always talked about how it's hard to resist the blink into the main, but Cyan, I kind of feel a connection with it. Doesn't have that parting bravery, Doesn't really blink in that much with the Storm, because when he does, Cyan does it in the most conservative way. He's like, I'll go hard, I'll go deep, but with 4 to 5 stalkers, never more than that. You know, he's like, we're gonna go in, pick off 4 SCVs and recall out. And you're like, okay, cool. Like he does these like very kind of little tactical backstabs. He doesn't like to 4-gate blink and throw everything in.
Yeah.
I may have just cast a curse this game, but hoping not.
Maybe. I mean, I'm with you. Cyan isn't really a 4-gate blink guy. Can he do it? I mean, absolutely. But will he do it well enough to kill time? I mean, that's the real question.
Starport is going to be finishing up in a moment. Blink getting chrono boosted. Reaper going to come in again. A Reaper that is still alive at the 3-minute 30 mark. You're usually pretty happy with. Like, yeah, you're chrono boosting that. Doesn't feel like a DT build.
Yep. Yeah, you got to keep an eye on also if the probe's moving out to put a pylon by the 3rd base as well. Because usually there'll be a pylon before the Nexus a lot of the time for Protoss. So you get an early tell on that.
So the Raven is starting. And he's going 3rd command center. So time, yeah, he's playing a big macro style here. It's 3-gate blink robo for Cyan.
In comes the Hellion.
4-gate blink robo. Oh, he is going 4-gate blink. And you know what? Time is playing a greedy build with the Raven tank. Oh, dude. No.
Did one Hellion just kill 5 probes? Okay, 4.
Ouch.
So no, it didn't kill 5 probes, only killed 4. So we've got a Prism coming through with the 4-gate, so we are going to be having a lot of aggression from the Protoss in time. He scouted this with the Hellion, right?
Yeah, I think he realizes what he's up against, so probably a bunker on the high ground is a good idea. Keep a tank sieged up there maybe too, and just keep them in very conservative positions where your tanks can't get sniped.
It kind of looks like time doesn't know this is happening, or at least thinks he has enough to hold with what he's spread out here.
So this normally hits at 5 minutes. It's a little slowed down, of course, because Cyan is probing a bit more. You know, he's not stopping at 38 probes and just going ham. He also lost some probes. Slows it down, but you got to be ready for like 9 stalkers blinking into your main on the 5-minute mark. And right now, time a little under-defended. Can't believe I cast a curse this game, man.
Yeah, he's not going to 4-gate. Yeah.
Oh, goodbye, Siege Tanku.
Oh, yeah, that thing's dead.
Loses 1 stalker, 1 adept. Not too bad, not too bad.
Mass repair on the bunker there does keep it up. Main base does have a tank. I think there's a tank really close to the command center. Bunker, he's trying to burn it down. A lot of SCVs repairing it though, and Cyan overextends. Oh no! The prisoner's been interference made received. Time's going for it. He picks it off.
Wow, nice move there by Time. Bit high risk, but he goes, he gets the prism, and that really just takes the teeth out of Cyan's build. Now, Cyan can still blink in the main. Only a few Marines. Go for it, dude. Oh, there's a tank. There is a tank in the back. Only 1 tank. He's going to go for the SCVs or repairing. This is a sort of situation, honestly. He could have gone right past that blink, that bunker behind the mineral line. 7 SCVs. It's good damage. Does have a 3rd, a Forge, a Templar Archives, charge. Looks like Cyan's going to transition into Storm behind us. He's just going to think of this as, okay, attack's over. We're just looking for that kind of renewable damage. Let the shields regen, look for the blink in, see what we can find here and there. And actually, there's a depot in the corner of the main. So, well worth going for that.
Oh, Cyan's going to blink the main, but there's a tank next to it. Oh, he's just unsieging it now. Oh, no, it's Time.
Oh.
Time.
Oh, my lord. Time's just moving out with everything. Observer will go down. So will the Raven. Ooh, maybe. A couple Marines do fall. Auto turret gets the Observer.
All right, the main is safe. And getting the Observer keeps the main safe, and getting that tank in position at that 3rd base. Also, kind of, oh, Cyan. Oh, very lucky on that last blink. They nearly lost another Stalker. But yeah, straight into Storm, as you mentioned. Cyan is going to get the spells ready. But I feel like Storm is one of those things it has surprise factor. You can surprise the Terran with the first couple storms. Once ghosts are out, they're not as good. But of course, when you load them up into a prism, then you can basically have access to those spells indefinitely if your control is good enough. It's a big if, though.
+1 armor, almost finished. Storm on the way. Charge as well. Prism going to be warping in some zealots in the south side of the map. +1 weapons about to finish there for Time. Raven Bio moving through the map. Stalkers coming on forward. 6, 7 Stalkers. Yeah, keeping them alive. They've been such a good squad for Cyan. And I do like this early drop. There's also a tank there, but Zealots, of course, don't really care too much about siege tanks. Going to get at least a few SCVs, and he's going to find an undefended main, at least for now. Great focus fire. Cyan focused all the SCVs in the third. He might even get the tank there.
Oh, and he's going to get another warp in round in the main base. Times main is in shambles at the moment. He is holding at the third, and he is holding in the natural, but he's losing a lot of SCVs up here in the main base.
These
11
are
have gone down.
Really great trades for Cyan. Remember, these are cheap units, so he doesn't mind losing these Zealots. He's got Storm behind it. He's adding second Forge. He's got a good economy. I'd like to see, you know, Cyan not throw too many more units away after that damage, because obviously the army is still big for time. But unfortunately for Cyan, the tank survived barely at that third base. That would have been a lovely snipe. It's bio mine though, Maynard. And remember I said on this map, rather than tank pushes, usually you want to be just kind of swarming in drops from all sides. So for time, I'd love to see some Widow Mine drops, some bio start to roam the map. He's got a supply advantage now, and he's just dropping a fourth command center. It really feels like, yeah, I love a late game Terran play on this map. I think it's really good. I also think Time could get out there and release Cyan off this fourth base right now.
I agree. I think Time's got a lovely army at the moment. I am a big fan of him getting the Vikings out too. Like, even though there isn't Colossi out in the field just yet, the Vikings still have a ton of utility at dealing with that Prism that has the High Templar inside of it with the Storm. It is just a very, very good thing to have in that engagement.
Double upgrades on both sides. Completely even so far in those upgrades. And Stalker, Zealot, Archon still roaming. It's not a big army though. I think that scan for Time, you gotta be like, okay, he's being greedy, right? Like, he's trying to scam you with a handful of units, and he's actually being greedy. But Time seems to be like, I don't care. I play late game this game. This is my plan. And I've talked about Terrans when they pick this map. They often want to do this. Honestly, what are the key factors? Mass orbital command centers, the Iron Bank, getting at least 7 or 8 orbitals, preferably up to 10 or 12. Extra planetaries for safety. Range liberators, usually a big part of the late game. If it goes to Skytoss, heavy Viking, but not too heavy. We don't want to see 42 Vikings overkilling on carriers. So there's a lot of different things that it can come to. At this point, Time, yeah, he's adding a lot of pieces. He's got the 4th command center. He hasn't shown that he's necessarily going super late game just yet, but no sign of moving out. 73 workers. I feel like it's time to add mass command center if you're not going to be going much later in this game.
Yeah, I agree. It's nice to see Cyan remembering Stone Thermal Lance in this game, and also a well-timed Invisible Man Clubhouse going down as well. I think DP's hit the field as the Terran starts to feel more confident about moving out. It's the perfect moment to do it, as evidenced by that 2,000 atmospheres gain. Actually, it was Oxide, right? Yeah. I get 2,000 and Oxide mixed in my brain for some reason, and they're completely different colors. But they just feel like the same map in my brain. I get confused which game's on which, but there we go. Come the Zealots in the middle of the map, but probably not a choke point that he wants until the Colossi start to meet up with the rest of the Gateway units.
Viking count's growing, so that's going to help against both the Storm Drop for shooting it out of the sky and the Colossus. If we see Time... Oh, Matrix! He's going to go for it. He's just going to jump on this army.
Oh,
what a savage. Good force fields. Okay, that should keep some of his units alive. Oh, my lord. He's got to pull back. Okay, the Storm Drop. He's going to be able to Storm Drop to defend himself now. Unload a High Templar. You've got to storm these guys to keep him back. He's losing every Colossus, Maynard.
Yeah, that last Colossus did die just off camera now. A lot of Zealots ripping at that third base. Did kill a lot of SCVs. 6 more going down. Very nicely done. In fact, more going down potentially as these SCVs are on the run.
Yeah, Max Terran struggles to deal with that, but he's obviously got new bio units building now. Ooh, okay, Shield Battery keeps him alive. Storm's coming forward. EMP on the Warp Prism. It gets it deep in the orange. Battery Overcharge keeps it alive. 8 more SCVs do fall. Cyan's going to send a lot more where that came from. However, I think the rally might be enough to deal with it. SCVs, more SCVs definitely will go down. Widow Mines, of course, going to tax these Zealots on their way in. Blink DT on the way. And adding +2 attack, +3 armor. Oh, gosh. That Widow Mine was devastating.
That was awesome. Ghost ready to fire off that EMP. Obviously, Enhanced Shockwave is here, and that Prism needs to stay away from these Vikings. SC Cyan really wants these Vikings thinned out.
Yeah. If he can get that countdown, I mean, the Colossus are good, right? It's just, in fights like that last one, they look so useless. So it really depends on you getting that Viking count lower. Ooh, some big storms.
Not a bad storm at all.
Oh, bad fight for Time for the start of it, at least. But not much meat there, so it's hard for Cyan to chase the army down. Zealots are doing a lot of damage. Cyan, he's like looking to pick off this army on the retreat. More Colossus coming in. He's got that Storm Drop looking to flank it. Honestly, Oh, 1 or 2 good storms, and he absolutely could wipe this army. That's clumped up, bruised Bio, Maynard.
Oh, another big storm in the middle, and Time just stands there in it. What an insane fight for Time, and not in a good way.
Yeah, no, that was a nonsense engage for Time. To keep pushing in there with bruised Bio into that much splash damage, a wild choice, and it does backfire. Cyan now pushing across the map with a huge army advantage. And you know what, Maynard? There's no Vikings, there's still Colossus and the Warp Prism. He does not have a proper answer to either of those. Time, his 4th base, it's in peril.
Pre-split on the High Templar here from Cyan. Drops a Storm on the SCVs. Really wants that Planetary. The Planetary being a part of this fight, though, might be a little rough for Cyan. At least he's going to get rid of it before the actual fight against the Army of Time begins. So that is actually a big win for the Protoss.
Command Center hides to the top right, so he does still have a 4th base up, but I don't think he can even hold this push. It's so much Protoss, and the storms are devastating. He's so clumped.
Oh, man, those storms. Time splits at the last second there and pulls back, but what's left here for the Terran? Is it enough to hold on? The EMPs connect with the Archons. They're softened up, and they will go down, but there's Colossi at the back end, and Cyan wins his 3rd game in a row. Pig, is this happening? Is it happening? I'm getting a stress headache. Is this actually happening right now?
I can't believe, dude. We're like, well, we're going to see another 4-0, Maynard. And now we are here in the final match. And honestly, I mean, Time missed some windows that game. He really did. He sat mega turtly, but he also didn't play late game. Remember I was saying Mass Command Center Range Liberators are the 2 things we want to see in late game. Neither of those happened. Time pushed into Cyan, constantly got picked apart by the backstabs. He took 1 great pounce on the army and got rid of the Colossus, but he wasn't able to capitalize on that. And I look at this and I say, hey, if you're playing Mega Turtle like this, and yet you don't add those endgame pieces on, is this the correct strategy? Clearly it wasn't. There was a point in the mid game, after actually the Zealot run by, he had an advantage and he didn't push with it. And this fight here was just ridiculous.
Yeah, I cannot believe that Time stuck around and just ate all of that splash damage for so long. Like, it almost looked like he wasn't looking at his army during the most important fight with the most amount of his units.
He was so clumped into Colossus sitting in a shield battery as well. Like, it was wild. And, you know, you add the storms that were with the army, which he saw because he scanned it, and the flanking prism drop. Oof. Very, very, very wild.
Yeah, uncharacteristic mistakes from Time. We've seen a couple of them in this series from him. But Cyan, I mean, when Cyan's been doing these Twilight Council builds, like no hate on his Stargate play, because he's won games with that before as well. But when he's been playing these macro Twilight builds, I mean, it started with the 4-gate, but of course he pulled out of that before losing too much and went into the macro game after that. He looks super good, man, when he can just play macro Protoss. Like, just the regular defendy Protoss, getting the double forge, the triple Colossi and the disruptor, the Prism Storm stuff, all the regular Protoss things that macro Protosses do. It is so strong when he gets to, fire on all cylinders.
His comfort zone is chilling in his corner of the map. Honestly, it really is for Cyan. So he's been crumbling, though, against 2-base pushes and some of the early attacks from both Coffee and Time. You know, they both got in with Widowmine drops. Hellion run-bys did massive damage. That game, we didn't really see anything out of Time to put the pressure on and find that damage. And I think even in the mid-game, there was chances to push and he didn't. So I think if you let Cyan get to that stage in the later game, he really shows his strengths, as you said. So I think there's a clear strategic choice here for Time. Don't play that sitting back game. You're going to go on to Lightshade, I believe. I don't think we've seen that map.
That's the only map you left, yeah.
To decide the series. So, this is an action-packed map. It's a pushing map. Hit those 2 and 3 base timing attacks. Get out there and really put the pressure on Cyan. You can't give him too much room to breathe.
Well, guys, this is it. We're going to Game 7 in this grand final. I think there's only ever been one other Game 7 in China against Time, and that was Jieshi quite a while ago, a hot minute ago. And this is the only time we've seen this Terran monster actually get close to being dethroned. You can count them on 2 fingers. That's how many times. There you go. I did a few, guys. This is I'm flabbergasted. I'm like, this series did not go the way I expected, but I'm all for it. Let's get that Game 7. Max series, max games.
Oh, yeah, let's go, man. This is going to be sick. It's honestly been a couple of weeks of the number of 3-2s we've seen, close series, back and forth, 4-3s, across Oceania, across Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau, Japan. Now here in China, the close series are continuing. and your bedtime, your sleep schedule is continuing to be ruined, Maynard.
Sleeps for the birds, man. Forget it. Don't worry about it.
Don't
Make it
even
up
worry
another
about
time.
it, man.
All right. I'll sleep when a demon kills me. In the bottom right, in the red from Good Game Gaming, he's won 3 maps in a row. Time has been on match point since game 3. Can Cyan win game 7? This is the man himself.
Got to be a little bit racked by nerves right now. He feels it slipping away. That spot in the season finals, that 6th crown within China. He's got to pull it together now, or it's all for naught. This is Kaiser Gaming's time.
What were we talking about against the beginning of the series when we were just about to load into Beckett on game 1? We were talking about momentum, how important momentum is in any sport, esport, any competition. Cyan's got the momentum right now.
Absolutely does. He's all over it. Let's see what he brings out, though, because I'm so curious. Is it Oracle Adept again? Are we going to see a defensive Blink Robo? 4-gate Blink Robo is very common on this map. Are we going to see the DT drop, or the DT rushed? We never see DTs in China. Nobody does DTs. Occasionally, they might try it against Coffee. They never do it first time, ever. And I don't know if that's because it doesn't work or it's not part of their repertoire, but I really want to see a best of 21 between Haas and Time and see if there's some DT windows to catch them out, because most of the time, top level TVP, we see in a best of 5, one game that DT drop comes out. And that's why it's kind of coming into my head for game 5. Yeah, it's a bit of a gamble. Doesn't always pay off, but I don't know. I just kind of like the idea of trying that out here. Even though Time often opens Raven, it's not super duper fast. So there's definitely a window.
Reaper looking for that probe. He's played Knifey Spinny before. She just missed it. On the edge of that map there. All right, well, means the probe can come in a little bit later or drop a pylon, but I was kind of just expecting it to try and escape back home or poke the natural again. But with his position now, it's starting to feel a little bit more like it might actually drop something.
Remember, there was a proxy gateway in the 3rd base in that last game. Recently, we've seen a lot of proxy gates kind of mix back into this matchup. And the Adept mid chase that Reaper off, does get a hit on it. Another Adept starting on up here. So that's 3 Adepts. And there's no tech yet, Maynard. That's the 2nd gateway. 3rd gateway. Ooh-wee. Oh, so this is why scouting denial is so important here. It's going to warp in a pylon. Probably won't build a gateway there, because that would have been started even earlier for fast warp-ins. It's just a 3-gate pressure. And yeah, I guess that's going to be warping in. Could just be a big Adept dive. Could be Stalkers to straight up bust the bunker and look for the win. It's the sort of attack you don't really expect that much. But bunker, 3 barracks. I don't think it's an issue. This is not really the build. I mean, the barracks aren't insanely fast. This is like the Coffee sort of opening, right? 2 gas, 3 barracks with a factory. But he might even get a tank out before this hits. Oh, and the Reaper's going to get in. He's going to scout no tech.
Yeah, I'm going to get the main and say, hey, Twilight Council, you're a little late, sir.
Solid 40 seconds late. The Depths are going to dive on into that base. They pick off an SCV. They're going to waste a bit of mining time. Oh, when he gets another SCV popping, Time's got to be quick on changing that rally point direction. Make sure those SCVs aren't popping out into their doom. Tank, though, should evict the Adepts. Has he warped in more Adepts or Stalkers? Looks like more Adepts coming in. Going to make it very hard. So Time's going to have to move the tank to the low ground and siege that up, hugging the command center.
And down it comes, and there's a Widowmine down here as well. So the firepower against the Adepts is looking real good. Adepts trying to get out of range of that Widowmine, which they successfully do, but they eat the tank shot and the bunker damage as well. So the Adept does get picked off in the end.
Sloppy shade, yeah. 2 Adepts do go down there.
Ooh, big supply block for Time, 54.
Oh, both
Same
of them.
for Cyan, yeah. Wow.
Both of them. And the depot starts... Oh, and the pylon both start very late there. Time does get popped out of the supply block, though, so not as bad for Time. Much worse for Cyan here. Cyan goes out to take a 3rd base. He's going Blink Robo behind this. He hasn't really found the damage he was looking for. So I think this is a very good start for Time. Even though he lost a few SCVs in mining, that's such a late 3rd base. And you've got Stim, you've got Shields. You've got a very early 3 racks pumping away. And this just affords you so many opportunities.
Adept Shade's just having a look at what's in the natural here. A commitment to the Shade would be suicidal, so Cyan's just using the Shades Keeping the Adepts at the refinery at the third base and sending the Shade in one every single time it's on cooldown. And there is the Templar Archives again from Cyan. He really does like the Storm with the Prism. I remember that one game where he actually like didn't get the Prism at all for his High Templar, and it was kind of weird.
This has been much better today. He hasn't done that once, has he? It's always been it's flanking, it's keeping the High Templar alive, it's pulling out, like it's it's a big problem. And Time's focusing on it as well. He's been using his Raven pretty well against it. We won't see a Raven this game though, because this is obviously a very delayed starport straight into 3-Rax Bio. I think we're going to see Widow Mines from there as well. I would imagine the factory swaps off and builds a reactor. That's what he'd want to do if he knew it was Storm Zealot. But if he thinks it might be Colossus, he may build a tech lab and build tanks.
Observer and Stalker's sharking around here looking for anything that's too separated from the pack. Anything you can do with these Stalkers is great. With a Blink utility, you can, kite Marines a little bit. Threaten the main. Time knows. I think you saw the Shimmer of the Observer move there. Yep, caught it. A lot more gateways going down for Cyan. He's still probing up back at home, but getting these extra bit of production down. He actually might be able to get it cancel on the third. He's still in range of that, I think. Well, maybe not just quite. Pig, you might be muted again, just to check.
Sorry, I got so excited there watching those Stalkers move around. I may have unplugged my headset and had to just reset it there. Sorry about that, mate. Apologies.
Look, those 5 Stalkers moving around was extremely exciting. Like, I get it as well. I'm super awake, even though it's 2 a.m.
I get all wiggly and jiggly here, mate.
I know.
A lot of bio coming on in, dude. The Zealots.
Choke point against the Zealots. Oh, Stalker's coming in to help. Yeah, definitely enough Protoss here.
Yeah, good defense. Good defense. He's got 60 probes, so 12 worker advantage. It's not done yet, though. There is another wave coming in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot more firepower coming to join in what remains from that drop earlier. In comes the Prism with a Storm, though. Storm connecting all right on those first 2 orders. That Storm in the backline was pretty damn good. It exposes the tanks, most importantly, so that the charge lots of Stalkers can get on top of it, and Time actually overextends. Oh, Cyan getting a lovely cleanup there.
Yeah, that's great. Takes the wind out of the sails of Time. He can now push across the map. Knowing Cyan, it's not going to be for a kill move. It's probably just going to be to try and scare him, do a bit of harassment, take your gases, probe up, take a 4th base. We know what Cyan wants to do. He wants to get to that late game. He's shown that he's playing really damned well so far in that stage, and we're going to see exactly where it goes from there. We don't mind Bio moving on forward through the center. Archon Stalker Zealot there. Ooh, nice fight for Time. Gets the Archon as well.
Wow. Okay, that was very nice for Time there. And he borrowed enough Widow Mines that the Zealots could not do anything about it. Now, Time is actually in the main with a couple of Widow Mines trying to grab that Prism. He does. Oh, actually breaks the lock on just in the moment. Oh.
Yeah. Okay, this is good holds for Time. Good trades. And Cyan does drop that 4th. Takes the gases on the 3rd, as we mentioned. And is it going to be Colossus Disruptor? He's not transitioning to the next step, and that worries me because I really feel when he adds those different types of splash damage, that's where Cyan gets super strong. Right now, it's just Immortal, Stalker, Zealot, Storm, and you know what? It's a very good mid-tier army, so I probably shouldn't be worried. I would actually say if it was anyone else, it's the correct decision right now. It's just for Cyan, once he adds the Disruptors, I feel he grows in power.
I mean, most Protosses do. But the thing that gets me worried about this mid game is that we are going up to 4 Vikings now for Times. Ghost Academy's finished now as well. So the things that you need as Terran to beat the Storm Prism stuff, just about to hit the field. It's a small squad here for Time, not the main army.
Yeah, but he's acting scary. He's posturing up with just such a small set of units. And that's a really useful thing. The skill to just kind of act intimidating, even when you don't really have any business being there. It's a good skill. Does waste 2 Widow Mines, though. Putting them in cannon range just a little bit too close. 4th Command Center on the way. Time really wants to set up for the longer game. This is so different to the style that I'm used to seeing from him. But, I mean, that does give you just nice longevity. And Ghost's starting to come on out now. We haven't seen second upgrades starting for either player just yet. So they're kind of locked in this mid-game. And I think this is just a reaction to Lightshade. It's a map where kill moves could come across the map so quickly, neither one wants to get caught mid-transition.
Plus side for Cyan is he does have the information. He's winning the information battle at the moment. He's got that observer parked over the Terran army. Time's been scanning ahead. He's actually missed it a couple times. So that thing's getting great information here for Cyan. He sees the Vikings, and he's going for a second and third robotics right now. And I can tell you that that is going to be for disruptors, my friends. It's Ghost O'Clock.
Yep. I like that. Double upgrade, triple robo, DTs. Cyan's realizing this is going longer. He's going to prepare for that stage. Now, 2-2 should start up for time in a moment when his armory kicks in. But so far, very even on the upgrades for both sides. And, you know, he's building Vikings. Having some Vikings very important for the Storm drop. I would like to see Cyan just go Disruptors and no Colossi this time as a Colossus starts up.
I don't like the Colossi, honestly. Like, I thought it was the Disruptors straight away because Time's been reactoring out Vikings for a hot minute. And Disruptors just feel so much more effective against Time's army at the moment. Like, it just punishes Ghosts a little bit harder, I feel. But there's only a few of them, I suppose.
Those amazing Colossus fights in a series, though, right?
True,
Those fights where the bio clumps up a bit and the Colossus do so much. He's also taken some terrible ones where they go down. Split push coming in. Uh-oh, Cyan. I don't know how much forces he has up there. He has maybe some static. Oh, Storm.
He's got a High Templar.
Very nice.
Gets a great Storm there. Enough to basically push Time back, get all those units deep into the red. None of them die, but they did get softened up enough that, you know, committing really hard here is less likely. Good split.
Yeah, he does need to warp in a lot more units over there. Oh, he's actually supply blocked or supply capped, I should say. He's at 200 supply. +1, +3 on the way for him. 2-2 on the way for the Terran. Cannons and batteries being added. 3 more barracks. So Time's going to round out his production with 8 barracks. Good way to just kind of pump out the bio. He's got a set of Vikings, not a massive number. Both sides have massive armies. This fight is most likely going to decide the game, Maynard. Time is grouping up everything on the south side. He should be able to take this base out. Can he set up? Watch out for that Prism drop. That High Templar drop could be huge. It's a giant arc. Time! Don't go in there, Cyan. Give up that ground. Do not go in there. Time
let him
wanted to
take
bait
6
him
o'clock. He's going for the planetary, but this one does not have DTs. Widowmine actually does all right here at the third as well, so I think the planetary should be able to hold.
It should be. He'll lose quite a few SCVs. Cyan's really good at shift-clicking those with his Zealots and just letting them focus. Of course, you see it every now and then. They just kind of A-moved on the planetary, but every now and then he'll shift-click them on the SCVs, and SCVs die pretty quickly. So I think that's a good trade for Cyan. You're maxed out. You can easily replace those Zealots. Losing your 6th base wasn't, or 5th base, sorry, wasn't the end of the world. He's going to push forward. I love that Cyan's getting assertive on the map. And remember, he actually got Thermal Lance this game, Maynard. He crushed it in late game on 2,000 atmospheres without that upgrade. He remembered it this game.
Cyan's going to 5 Colossi.
Hi-oh. How many Vikings are there?
I thought there was like 6. Okay, 7.
Oh, 1 Colossus for each Viking, pretty much. I mean, that's going to be pretty good for the Protoss, dude.
Well, there you go. See, here I am going, you go Disruptors to make the Vikings useless, and Cyan's like, no, idiot. You make as many Colossus as there are Vikings. That's how you make them useless.
Look at this arc. This arc for Terran is huge. DT's going to blink back there. And look, he's going to come in from the north as well. You've got to be real careful here as Cyan. Time wants to force the fight, but into the static defense seems very dangerous.
Times 2-2 is about to finish here, so the upgrade's getting closer and closer. And he's trying to shock around the north side here with a Viking Ball, and a bunch of his bio, a handful of Ghosts as well. Looking for another Nexus pick-off. He did get 6 o'clock, remember, so he has killed off a base. While Cyan did get a lot of SCVs, Time's SCVs are looking a lot better. Rotates through top right, though. The Warp-ins look like that might be good enough at least to slow him down to get the rest of the army in here. The Prism does have the High Templar, but the Vikings delete it. I think a couple of High Templar were still in there.
Yeah, big storms, though, on the units. A lot of them pick up, and the Vikings all very low. So, I mean, this is such an interesting position. So much of his supply is trapped in the top right. And I imagine you leave Stalkers there and you don't really let him out.
Yeah, Cyan trying to intercept the medevacs. The medevacs, the Vikings would be great. The Vikings can't really escape. The medevacs, if Cyan's not looking for a couple seconds, the medevacs can escape. But yeah, he's going to leave the Stalkers there. And Time is boxed in. Like, the army supplies look good, or at least look competitive. But keep in mind how much of that is stuck in the top right of the map right now. Not very useful.
Oh, 2 more Stargates right now. Plasma shields, +2 weapons. Oh, he's looking to drop, but the Stalkers are still there. This is such a weird situation right now. Oh, bad fight for Time. Get out of there. Time, what are you doing pushing up that ramp?
He just EMP'd all the High Templar, and I guess he thought that without space magic he has this battle, but he forgot about the laser beams, pig.
Lasers, dude.
What are you doing, Time?
He's getting shredded.
Dude,
He's getting shredded.
He's getting destroyed.
I got a few immortals there. I mean, but that's wild. Time taking a very bad fight. He could have just walked away from that. And, you know, you've got to respect the Colossus. We've seen Coffee do it now. Time. These guys, they are not respecting this giant Colossus count Cyan has. Cyan's got 3 Stargate transition on the way. I don't know if it's going to be carriers or what, but that's going to complicate things I don't think he actually needs to go to that transition just yet, but...
No, he's doing just fine with his ground army. Like, doesn't need a unit. He's making some phoenixes here, I guess. I mean, he just wants to get rid of the units in the top right, I guess.
And it
Time's
also,
actually moving to try and save them.
Okay, whole army coming. Yeah, he'll evict the Stalkers and be allowed to rejoin, but I think this has got to be an evacuation. This is not a turn and fight mission for Time. This is a get the heck out of there.
Yeah, this is a rescue mission, saving Private Medevacs in the top right there.
And Cyan, push through the south, punish this. Yeah. He's moving down south. He's going to see if he can grab a command center or two. Obviously, he's got to be careful to not get caught too far out of position. There's an orbital there, could be easy pickings, but I think he's going to dive straight on the bottom left and look for that most exposed base. Or he might get trapped.
Oh, Planetary is doing all right here at the ground forces. Some of the straggling units. In comes that Prism. Vikings!
Oh my god. Oh, Vikings are coming for it. Big storm, though, and he knows about it now. He doesn't get the Planetary, but I think that's wise for Cyan. He's going to recall. Oh, he left a Colossus there and a bunch of other units. Uh-oh.
A bit of a weird recall. It could turn into a little bit of a sandwich, weirdly, but it looks like he's just going to lose some expensive units, honestly.
just one Colossus, one Sentry. Oh, big storms! Big storms, and the Prism's still alive, Maynard. If he gets back to battery overcharge, Time can't chase into that. He cannot chase into that, I don't think. He's going to get smashed.
No.
He's going to get smashed.
Oh my god, Time. He's getting annihilated by the splash damage. Time has lost so much army supply. In just seconds, he lost everything. His third base is getting hit by some units as well, and the third base is not a planetary. This is just an orbital. SCVs and a handful of units trying to hold against DTs and Archons and Stalkers. Guys, I think we are on the cusp of having a brand new Chinese champion.
With a bloody reversal as well, Maynard.
Oh my god.
No way.
Cyan does the seemingly impossible